Yeah, I was talking about hemp stocks not that long ago, and I was pretty fearful to put down a lot. I put down a very tiny amount of money because it was a pink sheet. Got it gained several fold inside of no time, and I dumped it, and they're pulling back. Hemp stocks, actually, if you bought them, in other words, hemp stocks is like Medicap, I think it is. One of them actually went from it was a range of under $1 to $4 to $200. So basically, it went up 200 times inside of a week. One of them, and now it's down to like $30. Some of those stocks could have been stellar investments, but right now, I wouldn't touch them because I think they're pulling back. I think they got overheated because of all what the election results were about legalizing marijuana and that type of thing. And so people were speculating, and they're getting too hot and heavy. And actually, a lot of these companies, there's not much behind them. It depends on who it is. But in the future, that might be something to look at. Depending on how much they pull back, that might be something to look at. Actually, I want to point out something else. You know, I know about Bill Gross from PIMCO talking about the bond bubble. He's been talking about it. Actually, they've been talking about this bond bubble for the last few years. You know, it's like you're going to raise interest. I don't think you're going to raise interest rates, but right away. But the bonds don't look safe. And actually, it turns out if you look on MarketWatch.com, there's articles out there showing that many conservative type investment people, because basically people who put money in bonds are the retired people. That's where most of the wealth in this country is actually in the hands of people 65 and older. They got most of the wealth, and they tend to put it in very conservative, assets and that have low returns because they want to be safe. But actually, right now, there's a number of very conservative type people saying that the bond market is looking very unsafe, and even the equities look very unsafe. Now, I think some of the equities maybe in the commodities might be pretty strong. You know, like I was talking about, like a friend of mine has a lot of oil stocks, and they pay very good dividends. Actually, that's a friend of mine who's his dad used to. He's actually from like near the Illinois, Chicago area. His dad used to have a hotel where Al Capone's gang used to hide out. And he's got a lot of stories, man. It was actually, there was a fake floor between the in the hotel, and it was right across for the train station, so they see the G-men coming out, and they would get into the floor that didn't exist, that was between the two floors, and they would hide out there. That was his father owned that hotel. And he got a lot of cool stories anyway. But he has oil stocks, and it's they're they pay good money. But I told him, I said, I bet you, I don't know when it's going to happen, but whenever Iran gets attacked, not only oil is going to go up, but all the oil stocks are going to go up. I said, I'd unload them. I mean, if you make some serious capital gains on that crap, screw the interest, goodbye. But basically that's my method. Now, a lot of times, I talked a little bit about silver and risk tolerance. Actually, in my mind, I don't think silver is any risk. That's the way I think. But I'm very bullish on the metals. But typically, the average investor, the investment advisor knows that commodities are very volatile. They could be very high reward. They could be very high risk. But, I think silver's kind of low right now. It's pretty low price considering what's going on. And I think eventually there's going to be a major panic into the metals. And like I said, it's not going to save the middle class overall. Actually, the ones that are be panicking into the metals is probably going to be mostly the middle class. Guys right now and women right now that got the metals and they're holding on, they're going to be the sellers and they're going to do good. The early birds are going to be the good ones. They're going to be the ones that are going to be making out. And, the ones that later on, they're going to be buying high prices because everything in the world is going to look like it's falling apart. So, one other thing that's coming up on the horizon, it looks like the bond bubble is getting ready to break. So, that's just the deal. Now, I'm going to say something like, I'm going to put out a lot more videos. I've been doing more and more. I was kind of lazy. I was doing a couple of videos. You say that's lazy. But I'm probably going to do about four to six videos a day, maybe. And I want them to be pretty constructive. But there's going to be a lot more how-to videos, because actually those little stupid tips I throw out there, are probably more beneficial to the average person. Like the financial information, it's good for some people, but really what happens? Somebody else loses, right? Right? I mean, it don't help everybody in general. I mean, I would say right now, silver's a good deal. Any of the metals are a good deal right now because we're going to have rampant inflation. And it's not just that. I think when the bond bubble breaks, the equities start going down. There's going to be a mass panic. And they're not going to even like cash in a bank because of all the garbage that's going on with Cyprus. That was unexpected. That's like a black swan event where they're actually going to take money out of depositors' accounts to pay off, the bailout money to keep them going. God, and now New Zealand's talking about it, and they're talking about trying to do that in Italy and Spain. Oh, that's people ain't gonna wake up right away, but once the average schmuck wakes up, there's gonna be a panic, and then, hey, screw it. I mean, you really shouldn't really try to convert too many people. It's like people do what they want. Early birds right now are gonna make out good on silver. Now, I want to talk something about me. Like, actually, I had to deal with a lot of professional people, and I could talk like I'm from New England or some garbage, and I just talk real plain on here. I'm not actually trying to get like I do it on purpose because I don't want certain people actually even listening to me. I don't like to square, deadhead, overly religious, overly proper, those kind of people. I don't even care if you listen to me or not. Don't. I'm actually just coming from the straight shooting middle class. That's all I'm freaking preaching to, period, if you want to call it preaching. That's all I'm talking. And actually I think I don't know, maybe I got that from my uncle. He was a big time CPA in New York City. He had his own firm up there. He used to call it Price Waterhouse. PW used to call them poor workers. He had his offices up in the Chrysler building. And like some pretty high and important clients even from Hollywood, that were Italian singers at the time. So honestly, and you know what? He never talked. He talked like a working class guy. He knew his shit. He hated professional dorks. I hate him too because it's an act. And if you buy into that act, if somebody talks real sweet to you, I mean, I could play that game because I had to play it when I worked in certain areas, but I don't have to play it here on YouTube at all. I mean, maybe that's going to cut down my listeners, but I don't really want those kind of listeners listening to me. I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't care. I'm a straight talking type of person. That's the way it is. When I talk common sense, man, it's probably better off. It's better advice than you're going to get with a lot of other things out there, because just keep some cash on hand, wait for a pullback. If things look too high. Mark Farber actually is the guy to listen to more than anybody, I think, that tells you what's going on. But the situation actually for the metals is probably going to be looking pretty bright not that far down the road. The bond bubble, actually there's a whole bunch of conservative, the egghead, actually these guys are smart. They're smart because, I got to play that game too. It's like you're like a freaking stoic, But I tend to think outside the box and work like a demon. Actually, to tell you the truth, I outworked a lot of these jerks too. To tell you the truth, I don't want to work for them. I'm going to play around with this YouTube thing for a while, and YouTube don't make a lot. Well, I guess if you get real glossy with it, and you have a blog, and you have T-shirts you sell out there, and you got PayPal, and you subscribe to me for my newsletter, I guess you make money then. But I'm just going to play it real simple. But I'm a workaholic. I can bludgeon something just by sheer force. There ain't too many people in the world that can work as hard as me. Some people say they work overtime, and they go, oh yeah, I was working overtime for 3 weeks or 2 months in a row. I do that for years, man. Years, man. I'm work like a mad dog. I'd be in there for 10 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. Even when I was in the Marine Corps, man, I'd be working all night, 24 hours. That kind of shit. Nobody else be doing that. And I realize the suckasses get the bucks a lot of times, too. Especially in the governmental agencies, But the private industry, it doesn't work that way. I stick with the private industry. And I tell you the truth, I ain't anti-Semitic at all. You know the guys I respect the most and the ones I like working with the best are Jewish businessmen. They're good guys, man. A lot of them are good. So, but you know what? People, they tend to freaking go for the glitzy sales pitch. So I'm never going to present it like that on YouTube. Never. Because I'm not really selling anything. This is like, you make a little money on this, but it's like pennies. I'm not making, $50 to $150 an hour advising people, So, I'm going to just present it the way I want to present it. So, but I'm going to tell you right now, just use a lot of common sense. There's several things coming up. The bond bubble looks like it's, I know they've been screaming, crying wolf about the bond bubble for like the last 3 years. It's going to break, and it keeps going up. But it probably isn't a bubble now because, Bill Gross has been warning about this for about 6 months. But there's more stuff coming out on Market Watch for another that a lot of conservative investors are actually warning about the bond bubble getting ready to bust. And Mark Farber, the guy I respect the most, he's talking about, the equities are kind of high. He's afraid to short them, though, because there's been so much money printing. But, he ain't going to go long on that crap, I mean, and, you just think about what David Morgan says, too. There's pretty much a real rough inverse relationship between, like, gold and silver. Not gold versus silver, but gold and silver as one versus the equities market as another. So if the equities market's really high right now, gold is around, close to around 1,600 almost, whatever the hell it is, and silver's around $30. If you figure the equities are going to go down, maybe gold and silver is going to go up, and it's going to keep going up from there. It may not pull back. It may not pull back. It depends on the event. I know in 2008 it pulled back because there was a banking problem. I don't think we're going to have that kind of crap just yet. In 2011, the markets pulled back because of fear over the budgets and the debt rating changing. Now, if something like that happened, gold and silver would go way up. So, look, and also figuring that this bond bubble, I don't know what it's exactly going to break, but, they're talking about the real estate bubble for a while. It's like you're waiting. And all of a sudden it broke. It was like inside of like a month, boom, it's gone. And actually, I was involved in a lot of, I actually was still involved in a lot of projects because, it depends on what the area is. There's actually still strong real estate. Actually, even today, if you looked at that market, you say the real estate market broke. I forgot what country it is. There's a guy over here in Florida. He's involved in building houses out. I think it's on some island off of Honduras or something. And there's a strong market there. So, I mean, if it breaks in the United States, that don't mean it's going to break globally. But the bond bubble in the United States is probably getting ready to break. And all those safe investors who think their money's safe in bonds, they're probably going to get screwed up. So, just hang on. Just hang on, man. And I'm going to produce a lot more videos because I'm a workaholic on shit. And I'm not going to actually do a lot of, I'll probably do 1 or 2 silver videos or some investment videos every day because that's the kind of crap I was doing. But not investing per se, but actually accounting, finance. But I realize I read so much on this that, I could see what's going on. I could see what's going on, and, I made some people a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money just by them listening to what I got to say. So I know I'm going to make money anyway. I'm going to make a little bit of money on YouTube, but I'm going to make a lot of money on the commodities. So I ain't worried about it. It is a high risk asset. I know it might go down more, but if it goes down more, I'm going to buy some electronic crap. And when it springs back up, I'm going to dump it. I'm going to have even more fiat. So, I got enough money that I can last a really long time. So I ain't worried about it. But I think my investment's going to play out really good. But I'm going to actually stick in with this YouTube stuff because I'm doing this more as a service. Because, I'm tired of making money for these rich bastards, man. They're like a hollow pit, man. I feel like, you got that Ebenezer, what was that, Scrooge McDuck, and you got that freaking shovel, and it's going in the safe. That's what it's like, man. They got no limits, man. They got a record one year. There's more money. And you know, there's people out there with billions that people don't even know about. That I know some of it. I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy shit. And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I like the competition behind it, but then I don't like these guys too much. So, you know, I'm going to do a lot more videos. And if I work, the way I look at it, I could probably even make a little money off this YouTube, just doing like the simple way. And giving out a number of tips about different things. It could be car engines or whatever the hell it is, because I know a lot of shit. It's just that when I'm in the financial world, I can't do nothing about all this other stuff I know about. So this is kind of like the sky's the limit, so I enjoy it. So not necessarily something financially good for me too much, but I'm going to the way I work so damn hard, you're probably going to see about 5-6 videos a day or some shit. And I'm going to actually start putting out some better stuff. Because I'm a workaholic, man. Man, nobody beat this kid. And I done so much shit, and I made so much money for these guys. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you just went, you know, even if you did something stupid, like you took every single dollar you had, practically, and you dumped it all into silver, or even platinum, or whatever, gold, and you were able to hold on for like a year, you're gonna make out. You're gonna make out. You know, I know it's going to happen. I wouldn't do that, though, but you're going to make out as long as you're not afraid to sell when, you know, you get greedy and you say, oh, it's going to go, it went double, it's going to go triple. Because double, you dump that shit, man. That's what I got to say. You got double money, man. That's a hell of a lot of money. That's a lot of money, man. So that's why, you know, I ain't worried about it. You know, I ain't worried about it at all. But, I promise I'm going to put out a lot of different videos. You're going to see, like, this silver channel. He's gonna have like a whole pile of weird shit on it, man. Because I'm just fucking around, basically. Excuse me. I could talk without cursing at all, but like I'm not gonna be super professional on this because I don't like it. And maybe I got that from my uncle. He was very top-notch CPA in New York City, and he never talked professional. Yeah, he knew his shit. So. And since I'm a workaholic, I'm going to pass on what I know and various tips on many things, but especially common sense, practical things that could save the middle class a couple bucks, whether it's $2 here, $2 there, or whatever. That kind of stuff counts a lot. Stuff that helps the people in a real way. And that's what I'm going to do. So you're probably going to see good 4, 5 to 6 videos every day out of my ass. So, you know, that's what I'll be doing. You know, because I kind of like this shit. So it's not bad.